All right, we are live with another Quick Tip Tuesday, each and every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. This week's topic is very close to home, especially in the New Jersey area. I got a lot of requests in the last couple of days because of what happened last week. This topic is flood insurance. Flood insurance, very hot topic, especially what happened with the hurricane and all the rain that we've been having. Flood insurance is very important. So number one, not all homes typically need flood insurance. When you're going out to get a mortgage, if you're definitely in a flood zone area, you would need to get flood insurance because the bank will require it. So besides, flood insurance and homeowner insurance are separate. So please keep that in mind. Homeowner insurance is typically for everything else within the house, depending on what type of coverage. There are definitely different types of coverage within regular home insurance. Flood insurance only covers floods. So if you're looking to buy and want to know if you're in a flood area, there's definitely a lot of ways you can check. Quick Google search with FEMA. So you can definitely type in the address and see if you're in a flood zone. If you want to stay away from the area, you can. That's up to you, but keep in mind that's a separate expense. Can I get flood insurance if I'm not in a flood zone? Yes, you can. You actually can get flood insurance if you're not in a flood zone, so it's all up to you. So if you're not in a flood zone, the bank, if you're getting a mortgage, the bank typically won't require you to get flood insurance, but you can if you like. Typically, it should be cheaper if you're not in a flood zone. Typically, there's different levels to flood zone, so you can check on the FEMA website and different websites online. There's a lot of free material out there. So typically, there's something you would call like a 100-year flood, which basically means it's known for that area for once in 100 years to get flooded. That's basically like a 1%. So definitely keep that in mind. Can I get flood zone change over time? Yes, flood zones can change over time. You can get into a flood zone or out of a flood zone over time. So it's good to just keep checking if you live in the area, because especially now with the climate change and everything changing, I feel like there's a lot more rain, and the 100-year flood can be reduced. So just be careful out there. I know a lot of areas that are not in the flood zone were flooded this time around because of the more rain that we got, especially in the state of New Jersey. So definitely keep that in mind. I know there's a lot of precautions that certain cities do that can get you out of the flood zone. Because I was working with a client recently that the condo association was in a flood zone many years ago, but due to the city and town doing taking steps to protect themselves and guard the area, especially around the water, that it actually was out of a flood zone now. So that's huge. How much typically is flood zone? So typically, when you're getting a government loan, it wants to make sure that it's a covered flood insurance, so that it can definitely vary. You could probably expect to pay around the same or maybe a little bit more for homeowners insurance. So you're basically double your payment. You have to make a payment to your regular insurance and to your flood insurance. So those are two separate payments. Just definitely keep that in mind. Typically, your flood insurance, you'll pay them outside of your mortgage payment. Do I need flood insurance if I have... I love all the questions today. This is awesome. Do I need flood insurance if I have regular insurance? Yes, because homeowner insurance covers different parts of the house. It can cover like personal property, stolen property. There's definitely different coverages within home insurance, so definitely keep that in mind. So yeah, I would definitely recommend, if you live in a flood zone 100%, and you want to feel more protected because of all the rain and all the climate change that's going on, yes, you would need flood insurance on a separate, because a lot of people that were impacted are not in the flood zone and their homes got flooded. Their homeowner insurance did not cover it because that's not one of the coverages that they offer. So just make sure you're not getting low coverage when you're going for homeowners insurance. Make sure you're getting good coverage. Make sure you're working with the right person, because you don't want to go the cheap route when protecting your biggest asset. So make sure you're getting good homeowners insurance when you need to protect your biggest asset. So make sure you're working with a good insurance broker that's giving the knowledge and not just trying to give you the cheapest price, because at the end of the day, that can hurt you. So a lot of people, last week, a lot of my clients were reaching out to me because they're not in the flood zone and they were actually flooded, and their current insurance, it's not covering anything because that's not part of their coverage. So just keep in mind when you're going around. Hi, what's the difference between FEMA flood insurance and private flood insurance? So typically FEMA flood insurance, that's backed by FEMA. Basically, it's what all government loans need. Typically, if you're gonna go for FHA or conventional, you need to have a FEMA-backed flood insurance, making sure that FEMA is basically backing it up. Make sure you're getting good coverage. Private flood insurance is typically not backed by FEMA, and if you're getting an FHA conventional loan, they won't allow it, basically. If you're getting, if you own your home outright, don't have a mortgage, or you're going non-traditional ways, you can go private flood insurance route. A few other topics that I wanted to discuss for flood insurance. If you're buying an investment property, make sure you're putting into your expenses flood insurance, because that can make or break a deal. Typically, a lot of people can profit before flood insurance, and then if you find out it's in a flood zone and you need flood insurance on top of the regular insurance, you typically can lose. You can have a loss on the property. So make sure, if you're buying an investment property, make sure you know it's in a flood zone, what type of flood zone, what level, how often does it flood, and make sure you're shopping around and you know what your expense will be for that specific insurance. So that's huge right there. What else I wanted to discuss about flood insurance and insurance overall? If you have any insurance questions or anything outside of that, please let me know. Flood insurance, it's separate. Yeah, I would definitely recommend for everyone just to keep checking if you're in a flood zone. Climate is always changing, so we live in a pretty insane world. What was good a couple years ago, a couple months ago, can change. So always make sure you're checking and protecting your biggest asset. You just want to protect your biggest asset, because anything can happen. A lot of people that were in the flood zone last week were flooded, and you just want to make sure you're protected. Make sure you're going over your regular insurance. Make sure the person that's giving you the insurance is in your best interest. He doesn't just want to save you money. He's giving you the best coverage for your biggest asset. Just keep that in mind. And I'm not seeing any more questions. But if anyone has any questions after this live, just let me know. If you want to have me discuss any topics for next week, Quick Tip Tuesday, please let me know. Shoot me a message on Instagram. John Does Real Estate, JON Does Real Estate. And have a great one. Make sure you're covered. Cover your biggest asset. One more question before we wrap it up. Does flood insurance typically take 30 days from first payment to get into effect? Does flood insurance typically takes? Typically, flood insurance, for any insurance, you have a policy start date. You typically, I believe they give you a grace period before or after when the payment is due for it to kick in. So typically, shop around. I can give you my insurance contact. He'll take good care of you. Does flood insurance, let me make sure I understand that question correctly. No. Yeah, so it usually starts on the policy start date. I'll send you my insurance guy information. All right, everyone. Make sure you have good insurance. If you need flood insurance, make sure you're taking care of that. Don't go cheap. Make sure you're covered correctly. If you need to shop around, but don't cut corners. All right, everyone. Have a great rest of your Tuesday.